Well, tax hikes, closing school, and relocating schools.
All of the above controversial topics of conversation for MPS. JS on air now. We are joined by Alan Borsuk. He's the education reporter for the Journal Sentinel to talk about, well, let's talk about this tax hike first, Alan. And we got to tell everybody that you've been up all night because you were at that MPS hearing. It's kind of like having a beating, only it lasts longer.
It really is. Alan, I saw you there last night.
Democracy in action.
And I got to tell you, you are the most attentive reporter that I've ever seen.
So is this going to happen again next year, Alan?
For this, I'm sure. There's certainly a very strong chance of it. The general trend of costs going up more than revenues going up, there's nothing going to change that. One big exception would be that there'll be another state budget before then, and there's going to be a huge push in the state budget, not only by MPS, but by districts around the state to make some major changes in the funding formula. So that's the one wild card. But otherwise, yeah, probably.
And Alan, let's talk about the primary outcome of last night's meeting. It looks like homeowners in Milwaukee will have to fork out some more cash for MPS, $143 extra a year.
The MPS budget is about a third of the property tax bill, so it isn't a 14.6% across the board increase, but nonetheless, it's a lot of money. As you said, they figure for a $150,000 home, it's about $143, and that's going to be painful for a lot of people. Everybody realizes that.
You mentioned the funding formula a moment ago. Can you put that in a nutshell for us? Because whenever you bring this topic up with members of the board, they very quickly point their finger at the state.
Well, the funding formula is beyond putting in a nutshell. It's extraordinarily complex. The simple facts here would be the share of the MPS budget that comes from the funding formula, that comes from the state, has been going down notch by notch for a number of years, which means the reliance on the property tax is going up, and that puts increasing pressure on the city. And then there's an extra factor that affects only Milwaukee within Wisconsin, and that's the funding formula for the private school voucher program, which hits the city pretty hard, hits the property taxes pretty hard.
And a lot of people unhappy about this, including, we should say, Mayor Tom Barrett, who released a statement yesterday.
He went right after Peter Blewett, the president of the board. Frankly, I was surprised by how direct his statement was, and I suspect Peter Blewett was surprised too. They didn't have kind words for each other.
And I suspect we're going to be hearing a lot more about this.
We sure will. And that's Alan Borsuk. He writes good copy, even when he's had no sleep.
Yeah, well, thank you.
Hardest working man at the Journal, I think. You should have seen him last night. Thank